Over the break, Blair and I took our children to see the film The Greatest Showman, in which Hugh Jackman stars as P.T. Barnum, the creator of the famous circus. It presents the life of a poor child with a harsh upbringing who dreams of much more. It's a wonderful movie. I'm still not sure if it's appropriate for our children, but it's truly an inspiring film. And that story crept into my mind this week as I studied the beginning of the book of Exodus, as the Torah introduces us to its hero, Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, a poor child born into slavery who dreams of much more. While P.T. Barnum yearns and dreams of a life of greater purpose and higher social standing, from birth, Moshe is immediately swept up into a greater narrative as he's literally plucked out of the Nile River by an Egyptian princess. Vatiftach v'tereu et hayeled v'hinei na'ar bocheh v'tachmol alav. And Pharaoh's daughter opened the ark and saw the child, the boy crying, and she took pity on him. And with that single act, the trajectory of the world is forever changed. Power is offered to a slave. Wisdom and privilege is opened up to a boy born in a very harsh reality. But unlike P.T. Barnum, Moses doesn't seem to want the access to privilege. Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch explains in his commentary on this parsha, the Jewish tradition states that for a person to stand as a prophet before Israel, he or she, I added the she, would have to possess the three qualities of Gibor, strength, heroism, Chacham, wisdom, and Ashir, wealth. Rabbi Hirsch says, and I quote, God does not pick out weaklings, simpletons, nor those who are socially dependent on others to be messengers of God's will. Strong, wise, and independent must the man stand forth whom God is to send as his messenger. Gibor. We know Moses is strong when he kills the Egyptian for striking a fellow Jew. Chacham. We know Moses is wise because he's a product of Egyptian education, Yitro's mentorship. Later becomes Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses our teacher. But did Moses want to be Ashir? Did he want to be wealthy? P.T. Barnum definitely wanted to be wealthy. Moses, not so much. Moses walked away from wealth very easily. In fact, Moses ran away from his privilege to a life in the desert. You can hear the English translation of Rabbi Hirsch's commentary already answer my question. The translator assumes Ashir to mean independence, not wealth. Moses wasn't concerned about wealth. He wanted independence. Moses wanted physical independence away from a society of slavery, and all his life he aspired to reach intellectual independence. Moses saw the world differently from others around him. He saw the injustice of Egyptian society. He tried to act. He killed the Egyptian. But after he was found out, Moses' instinct was to run away, far away in the desert. But as Jews, that's simply not an acceptable way for us to live. We cannot live without community. We cannot enjoy life while our brothers and sisters suffer. We cannot cover our ears while injustice calls out to us. For us, we know we're never alone. We know that God is ever present. Vayishma Elohim et nakatam, vayiskor Elohim et brito. And God heard their cries, and God remembered the covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For Jews, connection is essential. Connection to one another, to Torah, to the land of Israel, to God. Moses runs away to the desert, away from community, away from Torah, away from the land of Israel. But to his dismay, he can't run away from God. And God leads the shepherd Moses back to his life of meaning. Moses has to come back to our people, to our family, and live alongside us. He cannot live in a higher economic class. He must live as a slave to help lead the slaves. He must paint his own doorway with blood. He must face Pharaoh, face all the intimidating physical strength, face all the institutional education, and face all the societal advantage. And Moses must remain independent. It's a great virtue to think for yourself. And when we strip away the details of each story, Moses and Barnum both thought for themselves as they pursued very different dreams. Barnum thought for himself, became a ringmaster, and created a circus family in pursuit of his dreams of wealth and social standing. Moses thought for himself. The byproduct of his journey is that Moses fell into the position of ringmaster of our people. But I believe Moses thought for himself in pursuit of higher thought. For Moses, the pinnacle of his growth is not leading the Jewish people out of Egypt. It is representing us at the top of Mount Sinai, receiving the Torah. Moses' independence led him in pursuit of ideas as grand as God and Israel and Torah. And I think the tradition demands that we maintain all three of Rabbi Hirsch's characteristics in our mind. We have to be mentally strong, wise, and think for ourselves. Then and only then can we be a light unto the world. Until then, if we don't think for ourselves, we'll just be mirrors, bouncing the same ideas round and round like a clown house of mirrors at a circus. For every time we lift the Torah and we say, V'zot ha-Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael. For this is the Torah that Moses placed before the children of Israel, al pi Adonai biyad Moshe, according to God's instruction through the hand of Moses. Every time we say that, we remember Moses as our ultimate thinker, our ultimate teacher, our ultimate rabbi. And we know that's what God wants from each and every one of us. Shabbat Shalom.